Ukraine's Zelensky fears political change in the United States. He says we will lose. Putin has no allies. Failure of Kiev, Ukraine that is, to organize a conversation between Presidents Zelensky and Xi Jinping of China. Concern that the war in Ukraine could be significantly affected by a possible political change in Washington was expressed by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who said he was ready to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. We know that Xi Jinping of China is proposing a peace plan between Ukraine and Russia. So Zelensky now wants to meet with him. In an interview with the Associated Press, President Zelensky said he was concerned that the war with Russia could be lost for Ukrainians if there was a change in the U.S. political scene, while underlying that he would face strong pressure from both Ukrainian citizens and the West to compromise with Russia if Bakhmut falls. He said, we will lose if U.S. aid stops. The U.S. knows very well that if they stop helping us, we are not going to win the war, Zelensky said. These remarks by the Ukrainian president come at a time when many American politicians, including former President and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, and his main political opponent, also a Republican, Ron DeSantis, are raising questions about how much Washington should continue to support Ukraine with multi-billion-dollar military aid. In fact, DeSantis has argued that Russia's territorial disputes with Ukraine are not a matter of immediate priority for U.S. national interests. However, it's noted that in his interview, Zelensky did not make any reference to Trump or any other Republican politician with whom he will most likely have to talk if the Republicans win the 2024 election. If Bakhmut falls, I will be forced to compromise with Russia, Zelensky said. The certainty that if Bakhmut falls, he will receive strong pressure from both Ukrainian citizens and the West to reach a compromise with Russia was expressed by the President of Ukraine, Zelensky. He said, if we lost Bakhmut, there will be a lot of pressure. Our society will feel tired. Our society will force me to come to terms with the Russians, end quote. Zelensky said this in an interview with Associated Press, noting, however, that so far he is not under any pressure from the West. He said, on the contrary, the international community continues to provide us with comprehensive support, said the Ukrainian president, stressing that Russian President Vladimir Putin is isolated as he has lost everything in the last year of the war in Ukraine. He says Putin has no allies. Zelensky says he has no allies, stating that he is convinced that even China is not willing to continue supporting Russia. In fact, Zelensky underlined that Putin's decision to routinely transfer nuclear weapons to Belarus was a sign that his meeting with President Xi Jinping in Moscow did not go well. Ready to meet with Xi Jinping? In fact, the Ukrainian president expressed his readiness to host and talk with the president of China, Xi Jinping, who recently presented China's 12-point plan for peace in Ukraine. He said, we are ready to see him here in Ukraine. I want to talk to him. But for this whole year, more than a year, I had no contact with him, said Zelensky. And as reported, Zelensky has already sent an invitation to the Chinese president to visit Kiev. Conversations with obstacles? Zelensky's advisor, Mikhail Podolyak, said in his statements that efforts are being made for a conversation between Zelensky and Xi Jinping. Although he admits that there are difficulties in organizing it, Kiev attributes the responsibility for these difficulties to the situation that has developed due to the position of China, which characterizes Russia as a strategic partner and ally. For its part, China, which has not condemned Russia's attack on Ukraine, maintains that it maintains an objective attitude towards the Ukrainian crisis. This is from Banking News Greece. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box